Many this past week celebrated St. Patrick's Day, or if you're an arch Protestant, you celebrated William of Orange Day. If you're curious how that works, you can look up the history behind it. But when Patrick escaped from slavery in Ireland, he thought that he was home, or that he was away from that place forever. I mean, if you had served in a place, you wouldn't want to go back. But his conversion and subsequent escape wasn't the end. He served on a ship for some time before coming home. When God called Patrick to bring the gospel to Ireland, it was no small ask. He was calling him to return to the place that was not filled with joyful, happy memories. But even then, after he received the call, he did not go immediately to Ireland. First, he went to a monastery in France, where he could grow in his theological understanding. Often the thing God calls us to do is not the thing we want to do. Many people are familiar with the vision that Patrick had, and then I've actually talked to some young men in the past who said, well, Patrick had a vision, and I had this vision of a beautiful woman that I believe I'm supposed to marry. Well, it's not the same thing. All right? He had that because that was probably one of the last places he wanted to go. The Lord's call for him was to a difficult thing. And even before he could do it, though, there was still more preparation needed. You have now no idea how God is preparing you for what will come later in your life. And this doesn't matter what your age is. This is not something directed only to young men or young women. If you're 75, you still don't know what the Lord has coming for you later on. As Patrick's time in Ireland exposed him to the land and the type of people he would minister to, his time on that ship, which is not just a few weeks or a few months. His time on that ship prepared him for the physically demanding work of going all over an island and preaching. And this island was not a place of culture. It was not an easy place. It was rough. The people were rough. And the young man he was before he went into slavery would not have been received by the people of Ireland. But the tough, physically, emotionally, and spiritually strong man who returned to Ireland would be received. So embrace what God puts on you right now. Don't shrink back from it. God is preparing you for whatever is coming next. And when the time comes, don't shrink back from the thing He calls you to do. Because greater is He who is in you than he that is in the world.